Welcome to another investing live stream. Today we are going to get right into let's see. Well, we're going to talk about circles first. That is, we're going to help you try to figure out how to find your best agent, and then we're going to get right into a deal analysis and some other questions that came up. So the biggest thing that I always get is, how do I find that great agent? And my best recommendation for finding that best agent is helping you figure out, well, what are some lists of prospects in terms of agents that you might consider working with? What's up, Sam? Thanks for being here. And so let's go ahead and do that together here. We'll split a screen here. I've got our live chat up to the side. 1 second here. All right, so here's how I would do this. No matter what area I went into, I would start by looking at Zillow. As much as I don't love Zillow in every way, I give them credit where it's due. And I would go up here to the Zillow Agent Finder and look for real estate agents. To me, everything else, literally everything else, is going to come after my agent. I want my agent to recommend the lender, the contractor, and all these other people, because guess what happens? When people follow the advice of their agent, they get really excited. That is, the agents get really excited because it's like, wow, a client is following my guidance. This is great. And it increases the odds of them wanting to work with you, bring you deals. There's no shortage oftentimes of clients, but there's a shortage of great clients. So these are, things you want to keep in mind. Now, you pop on over to the Zillow Agent Finder here. And let's say you're looking in, let's go a certain zip code, which I always recommend. Narrow it down to, let's say, 33324. This is my old zip code in Florida. And something that I would like to do in a situation like this is I usually end up sorting by most recent sales, but I don't necessarily want the busiest agent. This person has 45 recent sales, so she's cranking, but that might be a lot. So, this is a ton of business happening. Our active listings, 100. This must be some kind of team or group of agents that are working together. Especially when they're saying we're obsessed with providing 5-star service, right? So this must be, without a doubt, a team of probably 10 agents or something like that, because there's no way one agent can do all of this in this area. And so to me, that isn't necessarily where I'd want to start. I'm not saying she'd be a bad agent. It's probably great, but I'd really want to start hunting down and looking for, where can I find people that are working in my zip code that aren't too crazy busy? And so a way you might do that is you might pop open all of these other agents that seem to have, 10 to 20 sales, which seems to be like everybody in this area. And let's just go through it and kind of look. What the ideal things we're looking for before we set up kind of appointment is, if somebody says they work with investors, that would be great. But I hate to say it, most of them don't. But what you can look for within these portfolios is you want to find people that are actually selling in your price range. So let's say you wanted an agent that worked in Davie. Davie is right here off the 595. And look at this. This particular agent focuses their attention on particularly Davie within this zip code, which is good. And this is what I like to see. This particular agent is going to know a ton about those neighborhoods right there. Notice how all of a sudden it's going to narrow down your pool of agents. And I did put 33324, which is going to be heavy on Davie. But look at this. Here you've got, which particular neighborhood is going to be a preference for you. Are you looking more off of University Drive, or are you looking more off Pine Island and Nob Hill Road, which is this neighborhood? Look at this. This particular agent lives in this neighborhood. Basically, maybe not, but look how many sales there are in that neighborhood. And it gives you so much power. This particular agent doesn't just do this neighborhood, but also does the next neighborhood. So imagine how many flips they could help analyze. If somebody came to these agents and said, I want to buy a house for $499 and then have it be worth $630,000 after I remodel it. I guarantee you these two agents in these these two agents in this neighborhood know exactly what you're looking for. But I wouldn't go to these particular agents to say, hey, help me find a deal in Hollywood, because they don't sell in Hollywood, right? So that's what you want, is that local expertise that says, this is what we're seeing going on in the neighborhood. It's so important to have that kind of style of agent when you're looking to find wedge deals, because they're the ones that are also going to see, wow, that's a good deal. That's flippable. If somebody buys and holds that, that's going to be a good deal. So that's sort of my initial criteria for agents. I want somebody who's not too busy, and I definitely want somebody who's particularly working in my location where I'm shopping. I don't mind if it spreads, but as long as they're not too busy. Like, for example, let's look at this one here, Shannon. Shannon, and we'll do this and then we're going to get into deal analysis. Visit our website, see all homes available. Great. So Shannon, another thing that you could do is you could look at their reviews, and they're almost always all 5 stars. But what you want is to see people talking about Shannon and not necessarily somebody else. If everybody is talking about how awesome Shannon is, that's good, because that means you're going to be working with Shannon. Shannon. First realtor recall, she's honest. This is great. Very, very localized to her. Whereas if we jump over to this one, let's see, this is Lori. Look at that. Okay, see, very first thing, Roman, Michelle, and team were very responsive. Lori and her team. On behalf of the entire team, I want to thank you. We were in a time crunch, and our agent Laura, which sounds like it's different from Lori, was able to seamlessly find the perfect place. This is great. Like, look, if you want to be a retail client who just wants to find the perfect place for you, perfect. You know what? I'm sure Lori could do an excellent job for you. But if you want to find value, these are the agents you want, the ones that literally specialize in something so niche like that. They're going to know value. Guaranteed. You get an agent in that area, you call them up and you go, hey, I'm looking for, a 3 and 2 around 1,800 square feet with, a 7,000 square foot lot. And I want the bug screen in the back, which all these Florida properties seem to have. They go, no problem. I got 10 of them for you. You want a fixer? I got one for $499. You want one fixed up? I got one for $630, one for $615. That's what you want. All right. So hopefully that helps supplement the circulation on agents a little bit. Now, another thing, let's see. I wanted to mention that if you have not seen this yet in our Discord, let me go to it. I did under the Kevin's favorite designs right here on the right. I posted the before and after for this property that I made the video on. So you'll see the after link is here. I accidentally had after linked twice, so you'll see the before is right here now. But then you can also see all the material that I used on it. So a lot of the Lowe's links that we use. So I feel like that might be helpful to some of you. So if you have not seen that yet, check that out. Great. So wanted to also touch on sort of that feeling in the marketplace right now, mostly because there's some comments about a little bit of slowing. The market overall is not extremely hot. I don't see a massive trend downwards, but it's definitely, kind of like, it's like on a seesaw. And that's kind of how it feels. You feel a little like lightheaded, which is great for negotiating with sellers, because usually the sellers are anxious to get out. So it's an easy opportunity to get in and get some better deals. So get that local agent, understand your local market, track that median home price data in your area, and take it from there. Quick question: should I get a home warranty plan for $500 a year in my rental, or replace the AC for $5 to $6K that's possibly going out? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of home warranty plans once you have multiple properties, because think about it this way. If you had, let's say, 4 properties, you pay home warranty plans of $500 a year times 4, that's $2,000 a year. $2,000 a year could replace a furnace in every single property, once every 4 years in that example, which, when you start out with one, a home warranty plan can be nice to kind of just break apart unexpected costs, as long as they don't loophole out. Right now, all of a sudden, for maybe $50 to $80 a month, you're not worried about the water heater, the AC, the furnace, and the stove, and all this other stuff. But usually the air conditioner is going to cost you an extra $100 on that annual home warranty plan, because they charge you more for refrigerators and AC and laundry. All the upcharges make these plans very expensive. It's not terrible when you're a brand new homeowner getting your first property, and you just want peace of mind for the first year. It's not bad. So, and you're converting into a rental. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it depends on your financial situation. Would you rather pay $60 a month with the risk that you're going to not get any benefit out of the plan if nothing breaks? maybe what you might consider doing is having an HVAC guy look at it and go, hey, can you do a tune-up on this thing and let me know if you think there'll be any problems. But then you could have a power surge in 2 days and it fries it. So quick question. Why did you get rid of the patio? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the patio on this deal, let's open it up really quick. The patio on this particular property was reported to the city as being an illegal patio, which, I mean, just looking at it, you could see it's got funky electrical. It's not insulated. There's no way they got a permit on this thing. So code enforcement required it be removed. And I was more than happy to remove it because it was pretty ugly anyway. So it became sort of like a negotiation thing with the seller to be able to get them to, sell it to me for a certain price because I was willing to take it with the code violations. But look, when you walk back out here, it's just much cleaner of a functional rental space right now. I'm not a big fan of all the power lines either. I know that always comes up, but that's just the neighborhood, right? If there were no power lines, these places would be worth more money. But anyway, now you actually have a functional backyard. And, I don't like too much grass, but I do like some grass. So it gives you a little bit of an idea here. Just makes it nice and easy. Okay, cool. Let's do some deal analysis. So let's jump right into deal analysis escrows, where we always like to start. Make sure when you post here that you give me something to say that you're actually in escrow. If you just post the link, Willie, I need some info that you're in escrow. I feel like you had posted on regular deal analysis. Let me say, did you get the deal? All right, let's go right into the deals though. Let's see. Let's see, fix the power issues. Okay, so here we go. Let me hit vesting really quick. This is a question Vinny has because he's in escrow. So when you go buy a property, and remember, this is not legal advice or tax advice, but when you go buy a property, you're going to get this form, this vesting form. It's really easy if you're single, but it gets more complicated if you're in a relationship, if you're married or whatever it might be. And honestly, I don't know what the difference is here between wife and husband and wife. Maybe that's just the order of the names. But yeah, usually the big questions that come up are, should I go community property? What's right of survivorship? What's joint tenants? What's tenants in common? The important thing here to know is there are tax implications in all of these. They're stepped up tax bases. If you put it into a trust, there could be implications. This gets really complicated. And it's a good idea to spend the $200 and talk to a CPA and just say, hey, what's best for our situation, joint tenants or community property with the right of survivorship? And what you can actually do, though, if you don't want to do that, is how to take title. You could Google that. And you're going to get these images right here from title companies. So in this case, we'll use California because that's where I'm from, and it'll make it a little bit easier for me to relate to this one. Okay, I cannot blow this up. There we go. Here we go. So community property, it just gives you a little bit of a breakdown that if the big things usually happen when people die. So if somebody dies in a community property estate, the person who died, their half interest goes to the other person in the relationship rather than to like the kids. So let's say you had two couples, right? And you had a couple and the husband dies and he had kids from a prior relationship. Well, community property means the kids don't get it, the wife gets it. That's important. Then there's right of survivorship, which let's see, survivor owns the entire just tenants in common between advisor and survivors. Yeah, so there's some weird, funky things that happen after somebody dies. Right of survivorship, everything goes to the spouse. Tenancy in common between, okay, got it. So if you have just regular community property and that husband dies, now it's like a partnership between tenants in common. This is so complicated. Tenants in common is over here. You can see this is just messy. Tenants in common is actually what we did when we bought our first property, where we had my we had my father on title as a 1% owner. I was a 49% owner, and Lauren, my now wife, was on title for 50%. Tenants in common lets you have unequal ownership, which that might be what you get here between devising and survivor results. So defendant's half interest passes. Oh, okay, got it. So half of the interest goes to, this is so complicated. Anyway, your most common ones here are going to be community property and joint tenancy. My wife and I, Lauren and I, and this is not to tell you I know what I'm doing, but we always do community property with right of survivorship. So it just passes all to us, each other. And then we put this into a trust where we determine our own sort of what happens with our own will. Because you can see a lot of this is just, it's a nightmare. It's a disaster. And we figure that out by spending the $200 and talking to a CPA. And we go, okay, no problem. We'll do community property with right of survivorship. Then we'll throw it into a trust and we can take control of what happens anyway at that point. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit more of a simple bottom line there, because it is so complicated. I don't fully understand it. You almost have to be an attorney to fully understand it. So always will admit that. All right, let's do some other deals here. Let's see. Okay, BG says, I have, so Vinny, watch, let's see, what do we reply in? Vinny87 responded at the start of today's live. BG, we're going to respond to your question, responding around 15 minutes in. So BG says, I have to extend escrow a few days because the seller is slow getting the termite tenting done. The lender says you're going to have to pay a fee to extend your rate lock. So find out what that fee is, and it becomes a problem. You know, it's something you have to almost debate with your sellers sometimes. Oftentimes, they're not going to pay you a dime for your rate lock extension, but you do have to pay to extend your rate locks. That is normal. So you have a few options. The seller can pay your rate lock extension, which probably won't happen, and it depends on what your contract is. Did you remove contingency on time? Is everything going okay in terms of all the other parts of the deal? But the other thing you could do is just close the deal and tent it as you own it, but that's going to cost you the holding costs for those days. So things to keep in mind there. All right, let's analyze rates for Derek. Let's do a rate analysis. We did this in the last live as well, responding around 16, here we go, 16 minute. Okay, so let's do another rate analysis, and hopefully this gives you folks the knowledge to be able to do this yourselves. So let's find your Google Drive link here, and then we're going to screen share here. Okay, perfect. So let's download this, and what we're going to do is we'll open up the same spreadsheet that I've used in the past. I think usually the one I go with is I go with a 10-year spreadsheet. If you're not familiar with this, make sure to check out the lectures on picking your points. So here is Derek's. Derek gave me his spreadsheet. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to extract the information from it, and we're going to go ahead and put it on our own spreadsheet. The reason I like to do that is I get lost when I start using other people's modified spreadsheets. And so that's why I generally don't like spreadsheets, especially when other people gave them to me. And I understand that's complicated because I'm giving you this spreadsheet. But, oh well. So your points aren't showing up. So I have to reverse engineer this. I prefer it when I have the actual point data, but we did this in the last live as well. So your purchase price is $220. And the way we can reverse this is just put in 1701. Then we'll have negative 1240. See, I'm taking his red data here, negative 2175, negative 2800. That's money you're getting back at closing. So now I have these points for these different rates. So here we're going to go ahead and drop in, what do we have? We have 0.773, that's the 0-point rate. Now we're negative 0.564, negative point, and again, if you don't understand this, make sure to watch the lectures on this. Negative 1.273. What we're really trying to find out is what's the best option, right? What is the best deal that we could get in terms of the rate? And the biggest assumption is how long are you going to keep the loan? Because if you plan on keeping the loan for 10 years, but then you refinance after 2, all this math goes out of the window and you may as well not have done it. But let's drop on over to the spreadsheet here and see what the results are on the 10-year. So according to this, you would be best off if you're going to hold this loan for 10 years, taking the 3.875 loan amount. That is what you said. Yeah, the 3.875 makes the most sense if you're going to keep it for 10 years. Now, if you're only going to keep it for, say, 5 years or something like that, that's where 4.125 is going to end up sneaking in being more desirable. But in this scenario, all of these options are just bad to choose. They don't seem to get any better anytime soon. So stick to the bottom 2 and you'll probably be okay. The nice thing is it really helps you narrow down, like, okay, instead of me choosing between 5, now I'm looking at 2. So dry landscaping, yeah, I mean, me personally, it's not as homey. In Arizona, that's what you're going to get, but I don't do it because I put the tenant in responsible for, tenant is responsible for the landscaping. So if they kill it, it's on them, is my POV. All right, let's see what else we have here. So Let's see. My general plan is to house hack with a roommate. Then you want to cash out, refinance, or get a HELOC. Yeah. So, I mean, if you get the 3.875, you know, you don't want to cash out refinance. If you're planning on doing a cash out refinance in 2, 3, 4 years, you're probably gonna want to go with a higher rate. And this is where you could really change it down. Go with a 5 year. You could change the data in these actual sheets, and you'll be able to analyze this. Let's see if I paste yours over to the 7.5. So I put you on the 7.5 spreadsheet. Notice how the 4.125 becomes more and more desirable. And if we change this data to do the analysis at 5 years, then you'll get those answers as well, which you can do. You can play with these spreadsheets and break them down. Okay, let's do some actual deals here. Let's look at what do we got. So, we have your property inspection. Let's do your inspection. Please see my question above 2 in escrow. Oh, any suggestions for proper due diligence when you have an issue like while it's in contract and beyond the original inspection period? Like this, while it's in contract and beyond. Yeah, I mean, usually your contracts, at least in California, and you have to read your contract. But if you look at, watch this. Let me show you a California contract here. In California, we actually have something called a continuation of contingency. So you're going to see here time frames. Buyer has 14 days to complete all buyer investigations. But here we have this continuation of contingency. Even after the end of the time specified above for inspections before the seller cancels, the buyer retains the right to remove the contingencies or cancel the agreement. So it's kind of by default extends your access. And buyer shall have access to the property to conduct inspections, whether or not any part of the inspection contingency has been waived, for a certain period of time. So you got to really read your contract, but usually it's not that big of a deal if your timeframes go over. If you have this mutual agreement, like, hey, we're just waiting for one more thing, we're waiting for a contractor to get back to us or something, it's totally fine. If I have a house with an accessory dwelling unit, should I rent the entire property, house plus ADU, to one tenant or advertise as having 2 separate tenants? Usually with 2 separate tenants, you're going to get a little bit more management that you have to deal with, especially if you have to pay for the utilities. So, but you might be able to get more money that way. So I think it comes down to talking to a manager and seeing what's going to make more financial sense, but also management sense. Yeah, it's more management intensive to have 2 people on one lot. So let's see here. What else do we have? So deal on sauce barrels. I'm going to put yours in. Let's see here. I recently joined the course. Can you analyze my deal? I got the deal. Okay, good. So barrels. Let's look at a barrels deal. We've got a new course member here responding around 23 men in today's live stream for your deal in escrow. All right, so your deal is, oh my gosh, let's see, recently joined the course. Can you help me analyze a deal? I got the deal, but upon further review, there are a lot of issues, including the boiler replacement, electrical, 6 to 8 windows do not lock, and none of the windows are dual pane. Stove does not work either. Okay, so let's take a look at your deal. It's in Staten Island. The stove issue. Oh yeah, and Derek, I wanted to look at your home inspection too. We'll do that here. But do they get a fee for taking care of the landscaping? No, it's built into the rent. Whose credit score do lenders prioritize when you have a loan with a non-occupant co-borrower? The lowest middle score. All right, totally renovated 3 years ago. Well, apparently not if it has mostly original windows, right? Is this a 2 unit? Because I saw 2 electrical meters here. What is this? Detached 1 family, convenient layout, 2 floor. Okay, so I don't know why you have 2 electrical meters, but maybe that's normal in your area. So 578, it's for sale. You got the deal. The stove I'm not so worried about the stove not working. Not so worried about the windows not locking. Those are relatively inexpensive things. It not having dual paned windows, it's just not an upgrade. It's an upgrade you're not getting, right? So let's do some actual comps on your deal. And let's see what you're looking at here. So let's make sure I get rid of my filters. Good, no filters. Let's drop right into the Staten Island deal. And let's go ahead and draw a circle around here. So yours is on Richmond, which appears to be a little bit of a busier street, I believe. Yeah, it's on Richmond, which is a busier street, which is not the most ideal, but we'll look at it anyway. Let's pop open solds here. And let's have a second tab here with the deal info. So it's a 6-bedroom. That's incredible. 2 bath. All right. Wait, what is this here? Express bus out level. Oh, okay. So they're renting this out as 2 units, honestly. So you have the level 1 living room, kitchen, 3 bedrooms, full bath. Level 2, 3 bedrooms, full bath. That's what's going on here. That's why it has 2 electrical meters. Which, okay, that has interesting potential for you. It's going to make it hard for us to comp. But your deal is 1593 square feet, which here you could already see some rental comps for 15, 20, 2700 over here. Let's get rid of 4 rents for right now. Let's look at what's selling here. I'm going to have to zoom in more because there's so much going on here. Your deal is 578, so your deal's right here. Let's draw again and go even smaller. In this case, what I want to do is I want to go and try to get properties that are actually on Richmond. Let's just do this. There's so many properties around here. All right, wow, that's incredible. The amount of sales, the amount of comps. So now I want to try to find sold. So let's scroll past all this. Here we go. Look at that. 690 for a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 1528 square feet, sold in 2017. That's crazy, 690. But it's also off Richmond. So you've got an 890 sale over here. You get a lot of, look at this. You get a $1.8 million sale over here. Here's one on Richmond. There's a comp on Richmond. It's sadly from 2017. Here's another Richmond 2018. That's good. That's one I want to look at. 850. Any others that I could quickly see on Richmond? Okay, let's look at that one. So take a peek at this. Richmond 3-bedroom, 1-bath. It's larger, but it's a 3-in-1 also on Richmond. The problem is it's so much larger. It's 1,000 square feet larger, which makes it very hard for us to compare to, but sold for $850, which is great last year. Second floor apartment for rent. See, this is very similar though. In your area, I think you're really going to have to rely heavily on your agent to give you accurate comps because, sometimes they include the basement, sometimes they don't. That could be the difference of 1,000 square feet. I have a hard time believing that yours is only 1,593 square feet and it's 6 bedrooms and basically, 2 units. So I feel like there's a difference in accounting here of square footage. Overall, I like your deal. I just don't like the street it's on. It's a 1920s, so you might have some more expensive upkeep in the long run. But I do like that this is showing as 578, and I'm seeing some sales here that are substantially higher. I mean, you're getting it for, look at this, on Richmond, sold for 580 in 2017. It's on a cul-de-sac, which is nice, but the condition's not that different from yours. At least the photos don't make it look that different. And it's sold for the same price as what you're getting it for 2 years later, almost 2.5 years later. So I do like that about what I'm seeing with your deal. Would love to. Legal 1 family, but has 2 units. Yeah, that's you get that. That's common. So I'd like it. Definitely, if you can, post your inspection report. So speaking of inspection report, let's go ahead and look at Derek's home inspection. So Derek's home inspection is what I'm downloading right now. Let's see, here it is. So this is Derek's home inspection. Let's take a peek here. This is the Tampa deal. And I'm going to look for my big red flags here. Let's see what we got. Wand at sink was damaged. Wow. Garbage disposal was inoperable. It's $250. Always try to put a dollar value on this. Damaged hardware. Serviceable. That's fine. I want some juicy stuff. Sink stopper inoperable. And this a service call. There's a bunch of storage. Okay, no hot water coming out of the faucet due to a hot water valve being shut off. After turning valve off, water came from the faucet. Okay. Great. Toilet seat and bathroom was damaged. Maybe they turned it off because of the kid. They had kids or something like that. And they didn't want them to scald them, Water valve leaked. So this is common. Some little miscellaneous plumbing stuff. None of this is scary. Cracks in the tile. No big deal here. What is this? Doors appeared serviceable. Missing a cover. Some of the stuff that comes up on these inspections is just hilarious. Chip in the tile. I mean, if this is what they're talking about so far, it's pretty minor. Have an electrician fix this. I hate wobbly fans. That is dangerous. It's a liability as well. And replace the smoke detectors. You can have an electrician come do all of that. Nothing juicy, though. Gosh, this guy even takes the temperature of the warm laundry. That's incredible, huh? HVAC system. This looks pretty new. 2015. That's awesome. That's great. That's wedgie right there, especially with the condition of everything else. Wait, what is this? Since there's no AC return in each room. Oh, well, yeah, no kidding, because it's an older property. And you get that. I mean, you don't even get that in newer properties. It's just not necessary. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared about your deal at all. It seems pretty good, honestly. That looks like pretty okay. Here you got some missing insulation over here, but you got some nice insulation here. You got a truss frame property. That's great. Those are a lot more sturdy, especially in Florida. You're gonna might have some hurricanes. This looks pretty good. You got the AFCI breakers right here. I mean, I would have very few concerns about this deal. Yeah, you guys don't do earthquake strapping. This is easy. Just patch that. Have a roofer do a quick patch on that. That's no problem. The roof looks like it's in great shape. I'm very optimistic about this. Window screens missing. Such minor stuff, really. The biggest thing that he could turn into red was the missing outlet cover. I mean, that's when you know you really don't have problems. So, all right, let's see what else we got in deal analysis. So we'll go to regular deal analysis here. Jesus, I see you've posted yours a few times. We've talked about yours over in the renovation section. Let me see if I can pull your pictures again. This is what Jesus is talking about. Check live around 30 min in today. I posted my comments about your deal in here, and I believe you said that yours had a funky addition here. See, it's honestly weird because it's added on. It's lower than the rest of the home. And I posted a comment that I think that's weird. It's abnormal, and you're better off getting rid of something like that to normalize it. I don't like the look of that unleveled bathroom, and it's so damaged and it's funky. Like, why would you remodel and spend money on something that's a yeah, but I would be very tempted to get rid of that. So where did we leave off? Let's see. We talked Cami, Carson. We talked about your deal. All right. So we talked about Carson. Okay, so that means we left off here on Jason. All right. Ravalok. Responding around 32 min in. All right, let's see what you got. You're not planning on making an offer, but we can take a peek at your deal anyway here. So let's see what this is. Let's take a peek. Listed as a hot home. That's good. That's a good sign. Very, very median square footage. I like that. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1371. Very, very typical property. I mean, this looks very move-in ready. This is easy. This is a retail purchase. There's not going to be a lot wrong with it. You got almost no landscaping back there. This is easy. Let's see what your location is. So the odds are it's not going to be a crazy wedge. So you're in a neighborhood over here. Let's pull this up. In a neighborhood close to Anaheim, Orchard. This seems fine to me. I mean, yours does back up a little bit to the busier road, which I don't like that at all, actually, about this one. Ooh, and it has solar panels. If those panels are leased, I'd be very unhappy. It doesn't say. Yeah, so it doesn't say if they're owned solar or leased solar, which is a risk factor. You can have your agent figure that out. Yeah, you'll probably have a small HOA with the pool, which I'm not worried about. Don't like the location, and I don't like the solar panels, though. So to me, it's not one that I would pick. I would much rather have... What do you have over here? Yeah, I mean, as long as that's not a railroad, I'd much rather be centrally located here. But this is a little bit of a yeah, but especially since it's an intersection. And they have those solar panels, which I'm going to guess are probably leased, which is totally a yeah, but. All right, questions here in the live. Approximately how much does a pool increase the value of a house? Maybe like 20 grand, not much more. Awesome, great to hear. Think of that stuff on the inspection was worse. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, totally. Ask for money. You could come up. What I like to do is I just put a spreadsheet together of all the little junky stuff, and then I'll go to them and I'll say, hey, I want 3 grand, and then negotiate down to 2 and see what happens. But yeah, usually you could get something out of them. Absolutely. I don't see anything wrong with you doing that. So that's Rob's. Let's see. Okay, so Brandon says, this happens a lot out here with one realtor. I think I see a deal. Every time I see a deal, my heart starts racing and I see it, and it's this one guy. He does it to start a bidding war, and all the other agents hate working with him. Well, I mean, those are sometimes the best agents to buy stuff from because they underlist all their stuff. So that could be a great thing. around 35 min in. The other agents just don't like it because it's too much of a bidding war. But that means they're underpriced. They're potentially good deals. So I like it. Keegan, we talked about yours in the live last time. Yeah, you do, I think. Was it in the live? I responded to that somewhere. What textbook on real estate finance would you recommend? I really wouldn't. I'd recommend you learn everything in that finance section, but textbooks on finance, I think you'd be spinning your wheels really. Looks like a good deal. All right, Lewis. And same to you, Lewis, at Lewis. Here we go. Let's take a peek at Lewis's deal. Let's see. On my Lowe's Propose, I'm getting your recommendation of vinyl for how could you view the contractor volume pricing online? You have to reach out to them. You usually have to go to the store and have them set up your account as like a contractor account. And then you'll get to see that contractor pricing. Just say, hey, look, I'm an investor. I do a lot of work. I'm planning on switching my business over from Home Depot. They'll set you up. Is it pertaining to zip codes? Yeah, I mean, for tracking median home prices, you really want to track wherever you can get at least 1,000 sales. So if your zip code has 1,000 sales per month, great, but it probably won't. You probably have to go larger. And then you'll be able to track the data like that. Okay, so this is good. I like that this says sold as is. That's great because we all know that's a bunch of crap. They never sell as is. And even if they did, that's a good sign of a deal. It doesn't actually seem like it's in terrible condition, honestly. This seems totally fine. Yeah, this seems... Oh, okay, so what? That carpet needs to be replaced and you need to put some tile down. Big deal. If you need to do it during escrow, throw down some linoleum and carpet. I don't mind this at all. I think this has the potential of being a very good wedge deal. This I like. Let's find out. Da, 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 da. Okay, so location's pretty good. I like Dallas. I love my solar panels. I love my solar panels too. I got solar panels, but I bought them. I didn't lease them. So let's see here. Where's yours? Let's find it again. What is this? $375 for 2,900 square feet. Golly, that's awesome. $375 for 2,900 square feet. Where is it though? I don't know. Okay, there. Laurel and Golden Creek. Laurel and Golden Creek. That's got to be somewhere around here. Golden Creek and Laurel. Okay, here's your deal. $350. Is that your deal? $375. I have no idea why I cannot find these deals sometimes. So let's just look for comps. Let's see what the problem is. So we know we're over here by Laurel and Golden Creek, which is right here. Let's go ahead and zoom out and do some comps. So if we just draw comps around this neighborhood, the closer you are with your comps, the more likely you are to be accurate. And your deal is 2,900 square feet. Gosh, $375, that just seems like a really cheap price. I mean, why is this one $349 though? Oh, so this one's $349 and backs up to this busy street. Here's one for $500, $649. Let's look at some sales, some sold properties. We don't have sold data in your area. See, not all of the listings report sold prices. They do that to keep taxes low, which is a problem. But here's a place with a pool that's about the similar size. It looks nice, move-in ready, and it sold for $630. That's amazing. Why is this one $349? Sold as is. Another one that needs TLC. I mean, both of these I think are opportunities. But you need to get the MLS comps to figure out what these other deals are selling for because we can't do it in Zillow if they're not reported to us. So, yeah. Okay. I mean, I like yours. I like the look of it. It's not scary to me. It seems like it's newer. I think your deal would be easy to do. It would be a great one to get into. All right, Pete. At Pete. Responding around, what are we in? 39 min in. Let's see what we got for you. And then we have this one as well. We'll pull that one. Okay, great. All right, Pete, let's see what you got. $899 Daly City, wonderful detached mid-century in the Westlake Paradises, built in 56. I mean, I like the look of it. Is that a highway close to it though? This is easy. I mean, easy remodel here. If you wanted to glaze this tile, I wouldn't rip it out. If you wanted to replace that shower door and glaze the tile, I would do that. I like the look of this. I like this a lot already. All right, let's find out where your deal is. No, you're not that close to a highway. Good. Okay. Just looked like that at a glance. Skyline Boulevard. So this is not a highway. Okay. All right. Let's find some comps for you. So your deal is it a 2-1? See, here it says it's a 3-2. But here it says it's a no, it is a 3-2. Okay, the Google was messed up. So that's good. Smells bad. The whole house like mildew. That could be a good opportunity, honestly. Why does it? It probably smells like mildew because of this basement. The basement looked wet. Like I saw this at a glance, but I didn't think to stop at it. But this looks wet. So let's see what we got here. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, sorry. I'm usually good about changing the scene. So this is the house we're looking at. We're gonna pull the comps at it. It's a 3-2, $899. Take a look at it. It's pretty move-in ready. You got parquet flooring, which is a little bit dated, but the kitchen's pretty move-in ready. You could glaze this tile. You could replace the shower door over here and get the, if you wanted to, you could, if you didn't care about the gold. But this is where I think you might have some of your moisture issues. Let's see here. Let's look at the comps for this one. So, oh, Zillow's now doing tour insights. Really? I could make a video about that. Let's see. So here's your neighborhood. This is good. Let's draw specifically within this Palisades Park over here. And then let's also make sure we look within your square footage, which is going to be under 1,500. So we'll narrow these comps down real fast. Here you go. I feel like we've looked at these comps before, honestly, but you got 890 over here. That's a 2-1. And then once they get, this is a really good comp for you because look at this. The 3 and 2s are going for 1.2 million. 940. Wow. Why did that sell for so low? Was that just mislisted? Find out what's going on with this for 126 because I don't believe that. I feel like they forgot a 0, honestly. But the 3 and 2s are popping value. Although what's this? A 500, a 525? I mean, how much work did it need? So get these comps and look at these pictures and see what's going on, why they needed so much work. But for a 2-1, a next door to you to sell for 890, which is the same price you're looking at this deal for, that's good. As far as the moisture issues, figure out what's causing it. If it's that basement and it's all sort of wicking up, you could solve that. And that could get you a good value. So $3,700 pest report. Not so worried about that. It's not for the report. It's for all the damage is what you're saying. Yeah, we looked at Daly City last week. I mean, I like the look of your deal. I would just find out what that moisture problem is because if you can solve it, you could grind that down and have faith you're not going to have a lot of competition. Especially in this area, people are, I think, more inclined to look for stuff that's moving ready. They're like, smells like mold. I don't want to deal with it at all. You're going to get that. So let's do the other deal here. So I like what you're looking for, though. That's awesome. Let's look at the other one here. We had one more that I wanted to do a deal analysis today, and that is Oran Majo. Let's do here. Oran Majo, responding around 43 min in. Looking to do an appraisal to remove PMI to increase my cash flow. Here's the link for the property. All right. We'll go ahead and share here. How much does opening a credit card affect your credit score? I want a Lowe's credit card, but I'm afraid of hurting my credit score for the next home. I wouldn't worry about it, honestly. You could run your credit if you're like a 750. I wouldn't worry about it. You could always, in theory, open the credit card after you buy the house. Just don't do it during escrow. You'd be better off doing it early than during escrow. So here's the deal where somebody's trying to remove PMI. You had to have owned the property at least, well, if you're going to refinance, you could do that. But if you want to just request to have PMI removed, you have to have had it for at least 2 to 3 years. You bought it in 2016, so you're right in the middle of that. Check to see exactly what the case is going to be in your area, whether you should do this in December or now. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2040 square feet. Let's see if we can actually find specifically where your deal is. It is, we'll have a tab open with yours here. Let's see where your actual situation is here. It is between Morgan Circle and Hampshire Ave in this particular area here. And Morgan Circle and Hampshire. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and pop over here. Morgan Circle and Hampshire. That's in this area. So let's draw a comp circle for you. You're 2040 square feet and you're 3 and 2. Let's apply and 2040. So let's go 1750 to 2250 to really narrow this down hard. Okay, so you've got comps the appraisers are going to use of 225, 250, 223, 237. Without looking any further, you're probably going to have a value of somewhere around 220 to 230 that comes in. Might be worth more, but appraisals usually come in lower, especially on refinances. Now, what is this with this lake here? Because these lake properties might sell for more. See, you're not on the lake. This is where your local realtor is always going to be able to, look at this. See that? The 250, 230, 230, they're on the lake. Well, these guys aren't, and yours is not. What did you pay for it? So, because you don't want to pay for an appraisal and lose money, you paid $219 for it. And it's in great shape. So it should be up in value, is our expectation with the condition that it's in. But you've got a lot of low anchoring deals here. But let's see when these are. That's yours. Oh, so yours is showing up as that 220. You need a high sale to make this happen. 220 a year later. I'm just not seeing the high sales, which is going to hurt. Let me try to expand the square footage a bit. It's not helping me. Let's see here. Outside the radius. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not seeing great comps. It's going to depend now on what your loan value is. So if your loan value is, if you're trying to get rid of mortgage insurance, you want this thing to be 230. You want your loan to be around 180, and then you could get rid of mortgage insurance. But if you had mortgage insurance, you may have only put 10% down. So, if you owe above 200, I might wait for some more comps. Hopefully that helps you. Does being on a busy street affect? David, man, I'm telling you this as a friend. You got to use affect. All right. Does being on a busy street affect your rental comps as it does for normal home sales? Yes, absolutely. Because when you're on a busy street or you have buts, your tenants are going to be less interested in staying longer unless the rental price is lower because they could get off of a busy street for a similar rent price. So you're always going to see a rental hit there. I don't mean to be a grammar Nazi. Just figure, it's kind of like when people have like a leaf in their tooth and nobody tells them, like, we got to help each other out. And we're a good group here. So, good, folks, great live today. I like it. A little bit more casual. I think we've fully caught up on deal analysis now, so we're ready for some more. Barrels has the home inspection report on his ugly Staten Island property. Let's go ahead and look at the ugly home inspection report here. Let's see what we have here. So this is your Staten deal. I just keep in mind the fact that this is like right on the intersection really bothers me a lot. So I don't like that at all. Like I'd much rather be one street over. And if you're not getting a major discount here on the price, which maybe you are, but the first $100,000 of discount could be because of the street you're on. So let's see what you have here. See if I'm going to see if there's anything super scary. These windows you could fix. These are the old wood ones. It's because they're not going down enough. You got to get the paint out of these grooves, and then you have to wax them and make them actually close all the way and open and close properly again. It's because somebody painted them. That's why they're stuck and not locking. And these aren't locking because the locks are missing. Fog glass, that whole thing just needs to be replaced. Wow. Talk about leaded paint here, right? So let's see here. Roof. The roof's not miserable. The roof's fine from what I can tell. Let's see. Discharge underground. We'll definitely put a cap on this. What is it? Not bolted. Oh, yeah, that's hilarious. This is easy to bolt. Just don't split. Make sure you pre-drill. Make sure you pre-drill before you put those. Always pre-drill, folks. Always pre-drill. Main disconnect. This is not that scary. I know this may seem overwhelming, but so far, throw in some GFCIs. You get some minor things, handyman things that you could solve. A lot of this does not seem that bad. My question for me is value. So your furnace is older. I really want to see you getting value here. And being on that busy street, I think it's going to be hard for you. I also think it's going to be hard for you to maintain tenants. because they're always going to walk out to busy street. It's going to be very difficult to have a family. I'm not saying you can't discriminate against family and kids or for them or against them, but you're going to increase the likelihood of people moving faster. So I mean, I'm not super. I mean, this isn't super scary. So the radiator is older, thermostat's defective. That's cheap. The range, that's cheap. The window's not that big of a deal. A couple little minor plumbing things here and there. GFCI. I mean, overall, for the age that it is, it's not bad. This is not a bad report. Location is just what's me personally. I don't know that I could do it unless I was literally like, a couple $100 grand below market. 100 for the fact of the adjustment of the street, and then another 100 because I have to deal with because I want money. So that's awesome. Good for you, David. Oh, you teach math. Good for you. That's awesome. Nice to have you here. But yeah. So all right, folks. Well, I mean, there you have it. I love y'all. I will see you again next week. Post some more deals. I'll be in and out of the Discord, and we'll see you next time. But again, thanks for being here. Great live. Enjoy it, and have a wonderful weekend. Go find some deals.